So you want to learn another language. It's 2025. Maybe you've been thinking about learning a new language for some time now. Maybe you think learning a language will help you at work. Maybe you think your language will help you go on a date with the cute person that you're trying to go on a date with, because people do that. If you're like me, you want to travel the world and you want to go places and see things and be able to understand them for yourself and not have to rely on Google Translate or any other translator or dictionary that you come across. Whatever your reason is, I promise you, you can do it. Whoever you are, whatever your circumstances is, whatever you got going on, I promise you that you are capable and you can learn this language and achieve this goal that you have. My name is Spencer, and up until the age of 18, I didn't speak any other language except for English, which doesn't really count because I was born in the United States to English-speaking parents, so that's just the language I learned. In high school in the United States, I was required to learn Spanish. It took maybe like 3 to 4 years, and I couldn't even tell you because it was that insignificant. I don't remember anything from those classes, besides maybe me llamo Spencer, hola, or ¿Dónde está el baño? Or if you're really fancy, you would throw in ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Well, needless to say, here I am almost a decade later, and I speak 4 languages: English, Spanish, French, and Russian. So how did I do this? And how can you do the same exact thing that I did? The first step, pick your language. This is an incredibly personal journey, and it's something that you have to decide all on your own. Whatever the language is, from Romance languages like Spanish and French and Italian, all the way to Slavic languages like Russian and Polish, or even Asian languages like Japanese and Korean. Whatever your reason is for wanting to learn these languages is all up to you. Maybe you want to listen to K-pop songs or watch authentic anime. Maybe you want to travel to France or to Spain with your family. Who knows? Whatever your reason is, you definitely can start today. And that brings me into my second point, which is realizing that learning a language is actually a lot easier than you might think. Did you know that if you learn just 600 to 1200 words in a target language, so let's say we want to learn Spanish, if we learn 6 to 1200 words, we can speak about 75% of what people say in daily conversations. That's only 600 to 1200 words. Okay, now if you bump that number up from 2,000 to 3,000, so a couple thousand more, you will increase to about 85 to 90% of spoken language. 85 to 90%, that's a ton. Now, if you want to get really fancy, you can bump it up to about 5,000. If you can speak 5,000 words in your target language, so we're using Spanish, if I know 5,000 words in Spanish, I will, and this is true, you will know approximately 95% of that language's daily conversations. 95%. So if you walk down the street in any country where Spanish is the predominant language, you will be able to pick up 95% of what people are saying. But you might be thinking, but Spencer, 5,000 words is still a lot. To which I would say, yes, you are correct. 5,000 words is a lot. But let me give you some perspective, okay? Check this out. When you consider the average person speaks about 25 to 35,000 words on average, okay? 5,000 is only 1/5 of your entire vocabulary. 1/5. That's 20%, okay? Imagine saying you can run a marathon, and instead of 26.2 miles, you only have to run 5.25. 5.25 miles, that's all you need to run. And it will count as running the full marathon. The officials will give you your ribbon and your badge, and they'll say, yeah, you officially ran a full marathon, and you only ran 20% of it. That's how learning a language is. Don't get me wrong, 5.25 miles is still a lot. You're still gonna have to put in all this work and effort into getting there, but it's so much easier than running the full marathon. It's only 20% of what you thought you had to do in the first place. So for me, that's really motivating, because I don't know if I could run 26.25 or 26.2 miles, but I could try to work up to running 5.25 miles. I can't speak 25,000 words of Russian, but I could learn 5,000. Isn't that crazy? Because I bet you never thought about it like that before, but it's not your fault. It's not what we were taught. We weren't taught to learn languages that way. We weren't taught to think that we could learn languages that way. We were taught that if you don't learn a language by the time you're 5, then you're done for. And there's no improving and there's no changing. At least that's how it was for me. And being able to prove those concepts wrong has made all the difference in my life, and quite frankly has absolutely changed my life for the better. Great. Now you know what to do, you just don't know how to do it. I got you. This might take a couple weeks or maybe a month or so, but once you nail this down, it will change your language game for good. You just have to find a method that works best for you. So, let's say it's textbooks. If you hate textbooks, do not get a language learning textbook, because you will buy it once, open to the front page, and never open it again. And that's okay, because lots of people learn languages every day without using textbooks, and they're completely fine. Now, this step might take a couple weeks or so, but once you nail this down, it will change your language learning game for good. A big thing that the fitness industry talks about is the best exercise that you could possibly do for yourself is the exercise that you enjoy doing. Now, the reason for that is because if you enjoy doing the exercise, then you're going to continue showing up to do the exercise and eventually take steps towards your goal. The same thing goes with language learning. If you enjoy the process of language learning every day, then you're going to want to continue to learn that language, whether that's a textbook, movies, video games, language learning apps, whatever the way is, you can start that today. Don't be afraid to cycle through a couple different things. Textbooks seem intimidating. Don't let them. If you think a textbook might help you a little bit better, go ahead and grab one. Those are what I use. I actually love my textbooks, a little more than the normal language learner, but that's what helps me the most. If a language learning app is your thing, then hop on it. There's so many amazing apps out on the internet today that can help you achieve those goals. My last piece of advice, be consistent. Get tons of exposure, whether that's music, books, podcasts, movies, going out in public, going to meetups, clubs, however you can, get as much exposure to the language that you're striving for as possible. Even if you don't become fluent in 3 months, in 3 months from today, you'll still be speaking more than you were before. And that's progress, and that's all we can ask of ourselves. So we shouldn't be striving for perfection, we should be striving for improvement. And that is the absolute key when it comes to language learning. Everyone's going to speak at different levels, and who knows, maybe you'll surprise yourself with how well you can speak the language that you always wanted to speak. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.